Go.
Hi children, how are you? I hope you are doing well and are staying safe at home. I welcome you all to our history class. We have been learning about socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. That is the title of our lesson. And in the last video, I told you about the role of liberals, radicals, and conservatives in Europe. And I have made known to you about their role in Europe, particularly before 1917 Russian Revolution. And today, I would like to tell you about the Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution. Let us discuss. The Russian Revolution. The government in Russia was taken over by the socialists through the October Revolution. The government in Russia was overthrown by the socialists through the October Revolution of 1917. Dear children, here Russia was ruled by czars. The kings in Russia were called czars. So Russia was ruled by czars for several hundreds of years. For several years it was ruled by czars in Russia. So such a rule was overthrown by the socialists through the October Revolution of 1917. So the fall of monarchy in February 1917 and the events of October Revolution are normally called the Russian Revolution. A great revolution took place in Russia in the year 1917, and this revolution was also known as October Revolution. Since this revolution took place in the month of October, 1917 revolution was also known as October Revolution. And in the month of February in the same year, that is 1917, monarchy was fallen. So the fall of monarchy in February 1917 and the events of October Revolution are normally called the Russian Revolution. So a major change took place in Russia after 1917 revolution. The Russian Empire in 1914, where Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia. Look at the picture of Tsar Nicholas II here. So in 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia and its vast empire. So he was the Tsar or King of Russia. So in 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia. And here is the picture of Nicholas II, the King of Russia. Besides the territory around Moscow, the Russian Empire included present-day Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. See, my dear children, all these territories, all these countries, today all these countries are independent countries like Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. But previously, all these countries were part and parcel of Russian Empire. Once all these territories or countries were in the Russian Empire, they were the part and parcel of the Russian Empire. What are they? See here the Europe map here. So in the Europe map, you can see the countries which I am now telling you. They are Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. So all these are part and parcel of the Russian empire, my dear children. So such a vast empire it was. It was a vast empire ruled by Tsar Nicholas II. Okay, look at the map, and so see all these countries: Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. The major religion of Russia actually was Russian Orthodox Christianity. The major religion in Russia was Christianity, Orthodox Christianity. The empire also included, besides Orthodox Christianity, Catholics were there, Protestants were there, Muslims were there, and Buddhists were also. Okay, the empire also included Catholics. Apart from Orthodox Christianity, Catholics were there, Protestants, Muslims, and Buddhists. So all these are the different religions that existed in Russia. Economy and society. At the beginning of the 20th century, 85% of the Russian population were agriculturists. Most of the people in Russia at the beginning of the 20th century derived their livelihood from agriculture. So nearly 85% of the Russian population were agriculturists. They depend upon agriculture, and that was the only their livelihood. Agriculture was only a livelihood for more than 85% of the Russian population. So Russia was a major exporter of grain. Okay, in those days, Russia was a major exporter of grain. In Russia, prominent industrial areas were, besides the agriculture, there were some industrial areas, very few. In Russia, prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. So these two cities were prominent for industrial areas. Most of the industries were located in St. Petersburg and Moscow. So these two areas in Russia were prominent for industries. So in Russia, prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. Most industries were the private properties of industries. That means here most of the industries were in the hands of the private industrialists. All the industries were maintained or organized by the private individuals. Most of the industries were in the hands of the private individuals. Government supervised large factories to ensure minimum wages and limited hours of work. In those days, the wages were very low for the workers who are working in the factories, and the working hours were very long working hours. So wages were less, and working hours are very too long. So that's why the government supervised large factories to ensure minimum wages and limited hours of work. In craft unit, small workshops, the working day was sometimes 15 hours. Okay, yes, sometimes the workers used to work more than 15 hours, my dear children. How hard it is, how hard it was. Okay, so the workers used to work for 15 hours. So the working day was sometimes 15 hours. It is too long. And women made 31% of the factory labor force by 1914, but they were paid less than men. See, more or less, okay, yes, nearly 31% of the factory labor force were women. But whereas the conditions or facilities for these women were very poor, because particularly they were paid less than men. Men received high salaries, but whereas here women paid very less. So the women paid less than men. Socialism in Russia. The Russian Social Democratic Labour Party was founded in the year 1898 by the socialists who respected Marx's ideas. Already I told you about Karl Marx. Okay, Karl Marx prepared scientific socialism. So most of the Russians got attracted to the principles propagated by Karl Marx. So the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party here was founded in the year 1898 by some socialists who had respected the ideas of Karl Marx, and they were the staunch followers of Karl Marx. So these socialists founded a political party that was called Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, that was founded in the year 1898 by the socialists who respected Marx ideas. And this socialist party, that is the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, started newspapers and mobilized workers. They started newspapers, and through these newspapers, okay, they propagated their ideas or the ideas of Karl Marx among the people, and they mobilized the workers, and they organized strikes. They mobilized the workers and organized strikes, okay, in order to propagate the ideals of Karl Marx. And sometimes some socialists formed the Socialist Revolutionary Party in 1900. In 1900, some of these socialists formed the Socialist Revolutionary Party in the year 1900. This party struggled for peasants' rights and demanded that land belonging to nobles be transferred to peasants. In those days, the peasants' lands and most of the land in Russia was in the hands of the noble people. So there was no equality, no economic equality among the people. So in such situation, in such conditions here, socialists, okay, in the year 1900 AD, the party, that Socialist Revolutionary Party was okay, established, and the members of this party demanded that land belonging to nobles be transferred to peasants, because the nobles only enjoyed the lands, huge lands they had. Now this party, Socialist Revolutionary Party, demanded that land belonging to nobles should be transferred to peasants. That land should be distributed to peasants. That was the demand of the Socialist Revolutionary Party. So, dear children, and this is all about socialism in Russia. And in the next video, we shall discuss about Lenin and the socialist movement. I shall tell you a role played by Lenin in the socialist movement, particularly in Russia. Okay, keep reading the textbook, and if you have any doubts, just call upon me. And till then, okay, my dear children, bye.